Hey, good morning, guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. It's working, bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. We're looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar on Coinbase daily chart. And guys, wanted to kind of start off real quick with the big picture. I know I've beat this to death, guys, but it's very important that you remember that we're keeping in mind our prior high from our prior bull run up to about $10,000 before we had this massive correction. I've been telling you guys, if we go swing high, swing low. From there, we've got our golden pocket here between the 618 and the 65 that we need to get north of in order to switch algos, so algos start picking targets up top. I think once that happens, it'll be a lot easier for price to start snowballing upwards. Excuse me. And we just aren't there yet. We can see we've had a bull trap a couple times, as I pointed out yesterday, but we haven't been able to break through that golden pocket. That the top of that pocket's at about 8,500. So the price to break, in my opinion, is 8,500. We have to have a decisive break above 8,500. Again, by decisive, I'd like to see the daily candle close above there and open and then close again. That'd be a decisive break, in my opinion. Certainly, at least on the 4-hour would be a good start. But for right now, guys, just want to keep that. I just want to point that out as we zoom in here to the 4-hour chart. We can see that price is now. Let me just zoom in here for you guys. Price has now entered this wedge. We've created a series of lower highs, higher lows, and this is the pattern that price creates before we see a major breakout in one direction or another. Volume is declining a little bit. That's also as you see price kind of get squeezed towards the apex of this wedge. It's common to see volume kind of sigh off. People are kind of waiting to see which direction this is going to break, and they're going to play it based on that. Guys, if this breaks up, I want you to be very, very careful because that could be a bull trap. And again, as we saw here many times, price may just bounce right off that golden pocket again and come shooting right back down. Excuse me. If price ends up breaking to the downside, guys, I'm looking at this $8,000 as kind of my stop. If we get below $8,000, I think it's going to be a quick drop to about 7,800 or thereabouts. Excuse me. If we look at our volume profile here, guys, we can see that about $8,000 is where the volume profile just kind of shows a drop off, and it doesn't pick up again until about 7,800 or thereabouts. So I'm expecting a possible, as I said, a possible bull trap, price to break up, hit this golden pocket once again, and then just break back down, possibly heading down to $8,000. As I said, if it gets south of 8,000, then heading down to about 7,800, where I've got buy orders stacked in here. What was resistance should act as support between that 75 and 7,800 zone right in here. I do expect that to act as support. If that does break down, as I pointed out yesterday, guys, we do have a little bit of a, excuse me again, guys. What's up in my throat recently? A little bit of a demand zone right in this area between about 74 and 7,300, somewhere thereabouts. As I said, guys, if price does break to the upside, we want to see it get north of 8,500. If it does get north of 8,500, I'm expecting price to come into this zone between 8,700 and 8,880. That's a decent supply zone where I would expect it to find some resistance as well. That also jives perfectly if, remember, guys, we're from an Elliott perspective. We're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is our fifth wave. The question is, have we seen the top of wave 5 yet? And right now we don't have a definitive answer. We could make a case for it. Certainly we could make a case that we have, let me zoom in here to the hourly, as I pointed out yesterday, you know, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that could be 5 waves in, shortened fifth wave. We could also make a case that we have a 1, 2. All of this is a subwave 3. Now we're coming down for the 4, and we're making a break up for the 5. And if price does end up breaking up above 8,500, we'll know that was the case. If it does decisively break above this golden pocket, decisively break above 8,500, I do, as I said, believe it's going to come up in here to about 8,880. Or excuse me, about 8,800, somewhere thereabouts, give or take $50. That would be my target to complete the fifth wave, and from there I would expect a correction. Now, if that does end up happening, we do end up coming into that 87, 8,800 zone up here, that and we break above that 8,500, break above that golden pocket. Even I do still expect a correction, even though that'll be a very bullish move. I would still expect a correction, guys. But as I said, that's going to change the market dynamic. That's going to certainly switch a lot of algos trading, and even if it corrects back below that zone, It's still going to change market dynamics now because we're still going to be looking now for targets up above. So that'll be a very, very bullish sign, guys, even if we do end up correcting. And if we do end up breaking up above here, up into that 8,800, if that does happen, I would still be looking for a correction somewhere around somewhere down to around $8,000 or thereabouts. Possibly that low. Doesn't mean it has to go that low. It may come up here and come back and test the bottom of this zone here. What was resistance would act as support. Come back and test this about 8,400 and then take off. But I would be ready. I don't want everybody to start entering buy orders up around 8,800 if it does get that low. Now it doesn't. It may just continue to scream up. It may hit that zone and just keep shooting right up, guys. Volume might start increasing, and that might happen. With everybody getting so excited and with FOMO, guys, if that does end up happening, you're gonna have a lot of people FOMO, and technical analysis might just go out the window, and this thing just might shoot right up to 10,000 and test that. But all we can do is trade on probability. Probability tells me if it does break up, that's going to complete the fifth wave, and more than likely we'll end up hitting about 87, 8,800 before it starts to correct. So anyway, these are just my quick thoughts on that wedge, guys. Things to look for. If we zoom in here to the 4-hour RSI, we can see the RSI has pulled back just a little bit, sitting at around 6,400. We can see the stock RSI is oversold, looking for possibly suggesting that we may get that kick up one more time. The daily the daily RSI is sitting at around 70, somewhere thereabouts. I could certainly overbought. The stock RSI is definitely overbought, has been for a few days, and desperately needs to correct, guys. I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable when the stock RSI ends up correcting, at least down to around 50 or so, because where it's been sitting at now for a few days, it's just screaming for a correction. Looking at the daily chart, we can see that our Bollinger Band's price is just inside the upper Bollinger Band. They've been stretched. And also it suggests that we could be seeing a pullback very, very soon. We can see the 21-day EMA is still rising above the 55, looking very bullish, looking like that pattern is continuing. We can see that the 200-day moving average is approaching price. That's a very bullish sign. If we can get price above the 200-day moving average, that'd be an extremely bullish sign. On this pullback, if price can stay above 8-day EMA on the daily chart, that's going to be extremely bullish. Coming in here and show a lot of strength. Zooming in here to the 4-hour chart, excuse me, we can see the Bollinger Bands are still up here, showing us that we may still have one more kick up before we end up correcting. We can see price is literally sitting right on top of the 8-day EMA, acting as support. If it does break down, guys, I would hope that it would stop somewhere around the 21-day EMA. If it does stop at the 21-day EMA, that's going to be a very bullish sign of strength. And showing you that this is a nice, healthy correction. And we'll just have to wait and see how that ends up playing out. If it does break, doesn't mean all is lost, guys. If it does end up breaking below the 21-day EMA, doesn't mean all is lost. I'm just saying if it does stop there at the 21-day EMA, that's going to be a very healthy correction and show that this market is still very bullish, and we could expect to kick up at any point if it just kind of consolidates on top of there. So anyway, guys, these are my quick thoughts on Bitcoin. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, please trade safe. This is Working, signing out.